I had a question on um, the way that for deep diving a level,
Hmm.
your entry always has to be a knife catch, right? Because it can't be where it kind of slowly goes down towards your entry point when you deep dive a level, since
Yeah,
it has to spike down quickly and then come back up without hard closing
yeah.
the point where you marked. I guess for example, when you mark a deep dive level, you're kind of deciding, okay, this is the level that I want to hold, but I think it could go down further. So if you, for example, you wanted to deep dive 90-35, but you
Hmm.
decided to put your entry lower, your entry, like as the move goes down towards your entry, below that level, it has to be kind of that like quick wick down and then immediately up. It can't be like, for example, two candles or three candles as it like makes its way down to your entry point where it could hard close, let's say on the 1 minute, but then like on the 3 or the 5 minute, it's just one candle that's like not hard closing your level. I'm just asking if when you okay, so for example, your hard close always has to be against the level that you choose, not your deep dive point, correct?
Correct. It has to be against the level.
That yeah, okay. So it has to be against the level that you choose.
Hmm.
I guess the next part of that before my original question is then do you for your hard closes against your level, I know at one point in your video you mentioned because, for example, it was a 3 minute level or a 5 minute level, you're taking like in account of the 3 and 5 minute time frames for hard closes. So, what is the time frame relevancy in terms of hard closing when you're deep diving something? Because it could hard close on a 1 minute against your level, but then
So like this, for example.
yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, you always want to go and see if that level exists on another time frame, right? Like that's the case right here, where you want to see if that level also, that 1 minute level also exists on another time frame. So you can actually take this here too, like this, and see if that exists on another time frame. So your greediest level here, which is a 1 minute, is also a 3 minute. So you definitely want to take into account for that. Like when there's that level confluence there, right? Like the 1 minute and the 3 minute still has to hard close along with the 1 minute.
So you'd be looking
See what
for
I
a
mean?
3 minute hard close against that level.
Because there's a 3 minute hold here, yes. Give you some stuff like this where people do get out. But then again, that's part of deep diving, right? When you have a 1 minute candle starts closing and there's just more incentive to buy it back up. But that's where deep diving exists. It's just
So if that level was purely a 1 minute to the 90-30, and there's no confluence on the 3 or the 5, that would be an exit point then, the hard close.
yeah,
In
you would
that
you would you would more be something like this at that point. Like let's say this one didn't exist, right? Let's say this is a white candle here on the 5 minute, but this does exist, and this is the
mm-hmm.
5 minute, and this is the 1 minute. You'd be looking at this 5 minute to close and this 1 minute to close. So you'd need both of those to close.
Okay.
See what I mean? If this didn't exist on the 5 minute, but it does exist on the 3 minute as well. So
Mm.
you need the 3 minute close, and you also need the 5 minute close here. So you need like all three to close there. And there's of course no 15, no hourly, none of that stuff there.
So if it did close on those time frames, you'd expect the move to lose that range then.
Yeah, that's where the moves they die out. That's where they fail and die.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough one to stay in for, I suppose, say 5 minutes or whichever. Would
Yeah.
you stay in for the full 5 minutes, or would there be any sort of early warnings sort of idea? I know, I suppose, coming up to 5 minutes idea, that sort of stuff, I guess.
So I think that's where deep diving exists so frequently, because you do have those instances where you have a level like, it looks like it happens here. Let's find the level here. 3 minute here. Goes through that, goes through this. Here's the 3 minute level. Where's the 5? And then the 5 is right, and that's tested. So your 5 is actually right there. Do this. 3. Do this one on 5. Is there a 15? There is a 15 right here as well. Center align these things. Can't really see them, can you? Center align. Then we go to a 1 minute here and find the greediest 1 minute level untested, which is right there. So this one's tested. That's tested. This is not. The range is tested. So you could say that like this is it right here. But you know, you could also comfortably say it's right here because this is the backside of that range. So that's fine. You can say this is the 1 minute. This should be where it is, and then it just gets front run. So then you see 9098, 91, 9099 is level. So the 1 minute hits, but there was also a 1 minute right here. So people would say like, oh, this is like the perfect level. And it actually is. And you can even have a hard close on that 1 minute level because here's another 1 minute level with like everything in between, right? So you have a 1 here. So you have like a 1 minute level that deep dives to the 3 minute, to the 5 minute, to the 15, to the final 1 minute, the greediest point of the entire move, which is typically where something goes, right? Like even here, you're tested here, right? You're tested here, right? You're not tested up. Oh, actually, you are tested there. You're tested here, you're tested there, you're tested there, here. It's all tested. Like maybe this one is not. That's it. But then even then the backside is tested. So yeah, the backside's not going to hold this move, and then that's tested. So then you're right here as the next piece. You're really right here. So then you can see where a 1 minute hold level should hold it down because look at the size of that valley. But then the level just simply deep dives all the way up to 9099. And then if it would have hard closed some of these other time frames, right, then you're in a different scenario. Hard close a 3 minute, which and then you even have another 3 minute here, right? So then you have this 3 minute right here, which is like the greediest point, that 1 minute. So you have like a marquee of levels, but it has to close these time frames. So this is like often what you see, like a level deep dives. Like here's your 1 minute hold level, and it deep dives how much, like another 50% or something stupid, 40%. Yeah, and it's just going after, first off, it's going after the greediest level. But then when you do have this happen, you can have that little hard close like this because simply when you pull this thing back, like it didn't start to actually hard close any of its other time frames. Like the 3 minute is there, the first 5 minute is right here. It didn't close that, right? The first 15 minute is above it. So it's just the more this thing goes, the more incentive there is to buy it. Like the quicker this thing is moving up without closing these time frames, like if this closes and starts to hold, that's different. Then maybe you start to close over this 3 minutes, and that's when you start to like close over all these time frames on their own time frames. But this is like the perfect example right here, where you have a move and it just goes up 40%, and then it pulls back because you have this marquee of different time frames that simply hasn't closed yet. So yeah, like to answer your question there, Devel and KG, it's you can hard close one time frame, but you also have to like check your other time frames, just like we have, in the moment right now with that 3 minute time frame.
But check the other time frames to see if the level exists on that time frame.
Well, to see if you hard close that time frame is more importantly. We're not buying those, but to see if it exists. Like, where are we here? Like here, for example, here's like a perfect 3 minute. This has to close on the 3 minute, and I wonder if this is. Yeah, that backside's kind of tested, but here's a perfect 3 minute level. Like this has to close. So yeah, you also have a 1 minute level here, but it also has to hold that level for the 3 minute candle close. Because you have both, and technically you get a 1 minute hard close, and that's fine. But in this case, there's also a 3 minute there. So you go to the 3 minute, and there's if you start hard closing the 3 minute here, yeah, the move's gone. But then like this is deep diving, right? This makes it perfect to buy because the deeper it goes, the quicker it can bounce up before that hard close, right? So
what's the I guess right way to balance when you, like for example, there was a time or a few times during our live trades where the candle wicks down hard against the level that we bought against, but it never hard closes. But we still, we say that there's a 50% chance that the next candle would just dump. Whereas
Yeah, like the deep dive.
Right, but then it never hard closes, right? So isn't that an indication that even if it wicks down hard and it comes back up, that it's holding that level?
I think it depends on what hold levels are there. I think that largely depends on what type of hold levels are there. I think that's different in every scenario. Like when you wick past the level that crazy and deep dive it, I think you have to look at the levels and the trends. I don't think you can make one scenario that fits all. You have to be able to see it all and be able to digest it properly.
So even though that kind of hard close in 1 minute but didn't hard close in 3 minutes, it could just as easily have continued that 1 minute hard close down to the base of that range, that greatest hold effectively.
I don't think it's going to happen in a 1 minute candle. I think you're going to have the 3 minute close there. But yeah, it absolutely could have. But I don't think it's going to happen in a 1 minute candle. It never does. It always kind of lingers around that level. And when it's kind of hanging around a level, it's probably hard closing a higher time frame. Like you see 3 or 4 candles linger around a level. Like maybe right here it happens. This is tested. This is not. You've got something like this, which presumably that's tested and that's tested. So this is not tested, but we can say it is. It is and it isn't. This isn't on this time frame, but the other ones are. 1 minute part of the move here. Also like a 15-minute part of the move right here. The one above the one is the 15. We just have to remember that. That's a 15. Here's a good example. When does it actually go after too? Does it even go? Does it even go? Did we miss something in here? I've got to get the replay tool back. Okay, you know what? We can first look at this part of it. That's fine. We'll just do it right here. And we're going to mark this as the 15. So this is a scenario where you have that same thing. Like you've got a 1 minute time frame that hard closes, right? So you've got the 1 minute time frame that hard closes here. So if you went after the greediest level, this moves down quite a bit, 58%, right? Deep dives its level pretty hard. But then do you actually even close anything on the time frame that's also created there? Like I would wonder if there's 5 minutes in here as well. Let's take a look. There's a 5 minute right here, which is the same thing as that 15, I suppose. And then what about a 3 minute? Is there a 3 minute? Yeah, but it's almost the same thing. Then while we're here, is there anything else? So that's tested. Presumably the 5 minute is tested as well then. Which it is. The 5 minute is also tested. What about a 1 minute? Is there anything even greedier here? Okay, so you do have something. You have this here, and you have this here. Oh, you have a 1 minute there. That's fine. So this is like a perfect example where here you have a 15-minute. Here you have, we need to get rid of this 3 and the 5. They're not important and they're just making it hard to read. Here you have a 15-minute, doesn't ever hard close that. This 15-minute here is tested, so it can't go after this one, right? It can't be this candle. It simply can't be. It can possibly be this right here at 89.65, which is interesting because that's kind of our level for today. So you have this 15-minute here, which can't hard close. You have a 1 minute here. It indeed goes after the 1 minute here. We'll go to a 1 minute time frame. You do see like, oh, look, this 1 minute hard closed, right? So I think this is where you have to understand where's the greediest level in the move, because it's typically going to go after that greediest level. So you have 90, 54, 90, 30, 2 1-minute levels. Take the greedier one, as always. 15-minute hard close. If you start to close under here, under that 15-minute, right, and you lose this 1 minute, you're going to be down here at 89.65, right? So there's quite a big gap here. This level here to this level here, you're talking about 1.3%. So if you were to lose this 15, then you're down in this range, right? Did you take the greediest 1 minute or not? So I think this is always going to be the case when you're looking at that. Okay, level deep dives, what should I take, right? If it goes too far past my candle, what is it doing? And then sure, we can find a spot where it just kind of lingers around a level and then dumps, right? Like, where's a knife catch that just kind of lingers around and dumps? We're going to find one of those. No, that's just a straight knife catch. That's a straight knife catch. That's not really a dump. Come on, 1 minute candles. That's a knife catch. The ladder. It's a knife catch. Right here, here's one. 1 minute level, hits that level, greediest point, lingers around that level, loses its move, right? Because this is most likely closing a higher time frame. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do this. 3 minute right here. 5 minutes, the same spot. And there's no 15 there before the dump. So really all you have is a 3 minute. You have a 5 minute as well, but the 5 minute is basically right on top of the 1 minute here. So right here, right? And then you've lost that 3 minute. You've hard closed the 3 minute and the 1 minute. And then you just straight dump down, right? So that's kind of that scenario where it's like, okay, if it knife catches too hard and lingers around that level, and this isn't that hard of a knife catch, but it's the same illustration. You're going to knife catch that level and it comes back to that area and just kind of holds price there. It's likely hard closing a higher time frame. So I wonder if there's somewhere else it does that. So go to this move and you've got the greediest part of the move. You've got the greediest part of the move and it goes and bounces right off that level. And here's the point where you're going to start to lose that 5 minute after that 1 minute closes. So here's like a perfect example. Something goes way the hell down, right? So this is that thing you were talking about, what we were talking about there, Devel, where you have a knife catch. You've got say you bought the 5 minute level. Now we know the 1 minute level is proper here, but say you bought the 5 minute level. You get the 1 minute properly and perfectly. That 5 minute is lingering around, right? Like this. So you see the same thing happen on 1 minute candles. Happens right here, actually. Lingers around this 1 minute candle. Hard closes, goes after the next 1 minute, right? This here is that same exact thing, where if you were to deep dive a level, it's too bad this isn't a 1 minute, because we've had these scenarios before where it's a 1 minute and deep dives like this. When it hangs around this level, you have to start to wonder, like, okay, where's the 15 minute in this thing? Is it actually closing a 15 minute? Because you've got this here, right? And we're going to turn this one green. Come on. Seriously? Oh, that's a text color, of course. And you've got this here. This is going to be that same scenario where once you start to lose this level, it's the same thing. You just have to start looking at other time frames. You can't be too inside of 1 minute levels, because when they deep dive like that and they hold that base of the move, so that trade you talked about, it goes down. I wish I remembered the price. It goes down on the 1 minute, deep dives the 1 minute, comes back up. I get entry back out before it dumps down. I think some people held, some people got out. So the people who held probably held through the hard close of a higher time frame candle. Yeah, that's a 3 minute as well right there. 3 minute there, here. There's a 3 minute right here as well. The 1 and the 3 are kind of at the same level here. Yeah, so right here, lose that 3, and it's just straight down, right? Because as you're moving down, you're just losing bigger and bigger time frames, right? Try to find one more. I think this is a super important question, a very important distinction as well. I want to find a spot where maybe it happens here. No, it just goes straight up there to 98 to 10,000. Okay, we've gone way too far back. We got to find something more relevant, more recent. Let's take the replayer tool off and try to find another spot here where it does that.
Sorry,
Awesome.
because this is actually great. I'm not properly looking at that. You were picking, say, various timeframes, 3, 15 minutes, and there's probably higher timeframes, like an hourly, candle there as well, or whatever.
Yep.
Are you looking for the highest one, or would you be looking at intermediate ones, like,
So this is going to be a balance, right? Like this is going to be a balancing act. So you have, for example, this move today. Okay, you know what? Let's go to the move today. This is a good question because this is like kind of the perfect example. Let's go to the 1 hour. As KG pointed out, there's a 1 hour here today, right here, right? Okay, so you have a 1 hour right here. You also have a 1 minute right here. Oops, should be like 47 or somewhere, 46. Yeah, 46. So you have 2 candles here, right? And then you also have like a 3 minute and a 5 minute right here at 89.60. There's another 1 minute in here, right here, right? So let's make the hourly orange as we always do. We'll go orange for the text, of course. Let's go orange for the hourly. So this is okay. So here's a scenario where you've got an hourly candle. You've got a 5 minute level right here, right? We'll do the 5 minute level in teal. Sure, that's fine. We're going to mark this because I'm going to get confused. You've got a 5 minute level here. You've got an hourly on orange, and these green ones are the 1 minute, right? Okay. Okay, so you've got this kind of spot where you're looking at this thing to come down today, right? And you're looking at the price and you're saying, okay, let's target the hourly, right? That's fine. The hourly is a great buy. But if you catch this level down at 89.47 and you start holding down in this range, like if you start holding down in this range here, and you kind of come up here and fail down here and come up here and you keep holding down here, guess what? You're going to hard close if you do it for long enough. You're going to end up hard closing the hourly. So this is a point where you might say, oh, 89.62 was the 1 minute level. It deep dives all the way down to 89.46. And then you can also even deep dive to trend here. So I wonder where trend is. Oops, let's get rid of that other brushstroke here too. So you could deep dive to trend. But if you don't start regaining price and knife catching this thing pretty fast, you are going to lose the move. Like you're going to simply just lose the move. So you could have 2 possible trends here. You could have this one, and you could have this one here. Actually, sorry, this one should be right here. To here. Yeah, okay, that's right, because it goes into there, and then it ends up being right here anyways. So like you could deep dive either of these to these trends too, even here. So what is the price on trend? It's probably underneath the level. So you could probably deep dive even to this trend. So you're looking at this today and you're saying, okay, well, where are we here? Where could we possibly go, right? You could have the hourly at 89. Okay, it's the orange one, 89.62. It could deep dive to this level. It could even deep dive to this trend here, down at 89.34. And come back up and over top of this 1 hour level. That's perfectly fine. It happens all the time. Absolutely acceptable. Go to any like 1 hour level and you're going to see it break over top of it constantly. Here's one right here. And it breaks right over top of it, probably hit a trend, right? Because when a level, or okay, here's the top here, to right there, and then this guy to here, and it actually doesn't go after a trend. It's fine. It goes after its own 1 minute level. But nevertheless, it's the same thing, right? Like you can deep dive this level to whatever's here. There could possibly be another trend. Here to here, or possibly here. no trends. So it's definitely not trend unless there's something on the 4 hour. I guess we got to check. Nothing on the 4, anything on the 12, nothing on the 12. And the 2, yeah, that's a 2 hour trend. So right there, right? So this is the trend you're trying to break on the 2 hour, and it's still fine. It goes and does the exact same thing. You have an hourly level and it goes over top of it towards the trend and ends up hitting the trend. And that's perfectly fine. And this hourly level, I wouldn't even say it hit that trend. It probably just went after the greediest hold level. Like right here, probably just went after this, which I think we already looked at this, and this is what we said it did anyways. Yeah, it goes there, and then fine, it goes after the next one, which is up here. And so that's fine. It's still going after the 1 minute levels, but it's a little bit away there. Not too bad. But it's the same thing with this hourly candle right here. Like you have the hourly close. It can absolutely go all the way down to, what is this, 89.46 here. It could even go down to trend at 89.30 and then bounce up over top of this hourly. But that's how deep diving works, right? You go deeper in moves for this exact purpose because it's all about that hard close, right? So in this scenario, yeah, you can go after the 1 minute. And if it comes back up and hits this level, comes back up and just kind of holds this, realize that the longer it's holding this, it's breaking this level here. So that's that scenario where if you tried to buy here because it was a 1 hour level, comes deep dives like crazy, even if it comes back up to this level right here and holds here, it's the same thing. You hold there. Well, guess what you're doing? You're breaking the larger time frame, right? So the longer this is holding without moving back up off that knife catch, the other time frames it's breaking that you're not seeing. And then say you have that happens, you have a little hold here and it just goes straight through the hold. Because that's what happens sometimes on these deep dive moves, right? And that's typically because it's already, so you would have this move here. And before this big dump down, you'd say, okay, well, I've got a hold level. As long as it doesn't hard close this, I can be in this move. But then what's happening on the time frames above, right? So it's something to be aware of.